Hey guys, this is the Cooking Company and welcome to part 2 of my crash course in customization. Our continuing featured work in progress custom, Inque, human form from Batman Beyond. In order to sculpt things, we're going to use a 2-part compound called Apoxie Sculpt. You want to be sure to use any 2-part compound that air dries and self-hardens, not something you want to bake in the oven like Sculpting. If you have to bake it, you're going to ruin your figure. And if you bake it separately, it's going to be a pain to glue it on. And it's probably going to fall off. There's lots of companies you can choose. There's Green Stuff, Milliput, Fix It. But this is what's locally available for me, is Apoxie Sculpt. You need to take equal amounts of part A and part B, and you mix them both really well together, like that. Looks like I need a little more part A there. Okay, and you mix both of them thoroughly until they're one color, blended all nice and thorough. You're gonna have to knead it for a while, especially if you're making a lot. Gonna knead it a lot, but I don't recommend it because this stuff does not stay soft forever, and you don't want to be left over with a big lump of hard epoxy. So once it's completely kneaded, it's going to have the consistency of just clay. You might want to wear gloves for this because at first it is very sticky and will stick to your hands. So after it's uniform in color, you just want to let it hang out for about 30 minutes. Not too much longer than that. It really depends. Like if you want a really sticky clay, you can use it earlier. If not, wait a little longer. It'll get harder. It has a working time of about 3 hours total, and then after that it's still kind of soft, so you don't want to mess with it, but it's not like clay anymore. It's pretty much hardened. You could do a lot of cool things with epoxy, such as adding a mustache and beard, a collar, and some design down the shirt, belt. You could add a whole face mask, some hair, a new pattern, just anything that your character needs. You could even graft someone else's face on a different head. Whatever your character requires, that's what you need to do. And once you get used to using with this stuff, you could do cooler stuff like removable weapons, there you go, removable weapons, or even removable masks. Come on, there you go. All made from epoxy. So I decided to use this head instead because it's smaller and it fits the body. That head originally comes with this shield soldier body. So what I'm looking at is the neck. Mine is kind of really small, so I'm going to have to build it up to make it match this older neck so that the head fits in there. I'm going to have to use some epoxy. I'm just going to cut this thing off the head. Remember to wear goggles because anything might fly into your eyeball and you're going to regret that when you're blind. Okay, now I need to sculpt some hair on her. I'm going to have to Dremel this hair off a little bit near the front because Inque has a very high forehead up there. Of her hair off. Now I'm just going to smooth it down to make it shiny with my trusty nail buffer. You can buy these at, you know, CVS or whatever corner store you got. Pretty cheap, maybe $2 or $3. Try to get the cheap one. Remember to start with the roughest side first, and then, you know, it should be numbered. See, it says like step 1, step 2. Go from the roughest down to the smoothest, you know, just like you're doing your nails, girls. Okay, so I'm already started putting the epoxy on. You really just want to take a little bit, you know, and just put it on there. It sticks, you know, just, I have a little plastic knife that I work details with. Just want to push it around until you get the good shape by whatever you're doing. Here's her little high forehead and her little curve down there. Just work it until you get what you need. So here we are, about 5-6 hours later. It's mostly hardened, but you want to leave it overnight for the hardest results. Looks like my hair is okay, and see here, it's stuck on pretty tight. I added some epoxy on the ball here for the neck, and it actually fits the new neck, the new head. Used to have a smaller ball there. It actually fits pretty tight and pretty nice. So next I'm going to have to sculpt some more hair, all the back hair. That's going to restrict her movement a little bit, but it should look good. It's all nice and buffed. You can see the shine on there. Yeah. So here's her finished head. It is ready for painting. Now let me show you what I did. That was the original flat head that I showed before. And the little piece of the collar that was actually attached to her shoulder right there, I chopped it off, and the little holes I filled it in with epoxy, buffed it. As you can see, some of the black paints have been scraped off, but that's okay because it's still very smooth. There's no chips or holes or anything. When you buff things, you want to make sure you actually buff it really good. So the piece that I took off the collar, the little piece of hair, took it off her chest and attached it to the hair. There it is right there. And I attached it with epoxy and super glue, and you know, just do what you can. So basically you just want to keep adding epoxy as much as you need, but a little bit at a time. Put it into the correct shape, and you know, buff it, see where you need to add some more. See, you can see the little, what looked like cracks on here. Those are actually just the edges of the fresh pieces of epoxy that I put on there. Of course, you can't feel it. It's completely smooth because I buffed it. And there you could put a little curl, and it's pretty much done. Now this is because Inque's hair is actually just flat like this. Your hair probably will have more texture to it, and that's a little bit harder, but I believe in you. Good luck. Still to come, videos on weapon making and painting. Don't miss them.